RPGs continue to be one of the most popular genres in gaming, and the last couple of years have seen some incredible experiences of this ilk. To that end, we will be taking a look at 15 of the best RPGs of all time and discuss what exactly makes them tick. Undertale. Undertale is special because it flips popular RPG conventions on their head. Instead of asking you to defeat hideous monsters, Undertale insists that you take the peaceful route, which is a lot harder, but leads to the best ending of the game. The story itself is also pretty compelling, and the characters that you meet during your playtime will stay with you long after the credits roll. It's a game that knows exactly what it wants to say, and doesn't waste much time with unnecessary filler content. Yakuza Like a Dragon. Yakuza Like a Dragon changed the series' signature real-time combat with a turn-based system, and remains all the better for it. Ichiban is an interesting character, and getting to see the world through his eccentric eyes remains an absolute treat through and through. The turn-based combat doesn't require much active effort, but the many flashy moves from different characters will surely put a smile on your face. And then, of course, you have the vast selection of side quests and activities that are densely packed within a small open world, and that signature element of the series remains as enjoyable as ever. Monster Hunter Rise. The Monster Hunter series has been on a hot streak lately, and its latest offerings might just be the series at its best. Rise takes the strong foundations of prior entries and adds some interesting things, such as wirebug and mounts into the mix, which make for a much better experience this time around. The monster hunting is as methodical and addictive as prior entries, so don't be surprised if you find yourself grinding through the game for hours and hours upon end. Diablo 4. Diablo 4 is all about the thrill of tackling dungeons to get powerful loot and rewards, and using them to tackle even more dungeons, and get more powerful, and do that all over again. With plenty of weapon options and a smartly designed progression system, Diablo 4 makes sure that fans get the best that the franchise has to offer. Disco Elysium: The Final Cut. Disco Elysium is easily one of the most unique RPGs of recent memory. It trades conventional combat-focused gameplay for a complex dialogue system, where your observational and deduction skills are put to the test during challenging scenarios. And what we get, as a result, is the game that really manages to sell you the fantasy of being a master detective, as you slowly and steadily accrue more experience and skills under your belt. Between a fresh gameplay loop and gorgeous visual aesthetics, Disco Elysium is a truly special game. Mass Effect 3. While Mass Effect 3 may have attracted a lot of criticism for its ending, we feel that it's a game that deserves a lot more love than it gets credit for. And the simple reason behind that is the smooth flowing gameplay, which is the best the series has ever seen. Sure, the story might fumble in a few aspects, but it does a good enough job of wrapping all threads, and the post-launch Citadel DLC also writes the previously mentioned rushed ending. Fallout 4. Fallout 4 thrusts players into a post-apocalyptic world where suffering and crimes run rampant, but that world is also weirdly beautiful thanks to interesting characters and the many compelling quest lines that populate the world. You can just spend hours and hours roaming around this world and come across something interesting to do again and again, which makes this world feel dense and real. The main quest is also pretty interesting as well, and your fight against the Institute can go in many different ways depending on the choices you make during the critical moments. Cyberpunk 2077: Phantom Liberty. Cyberpunk 2077: Phantom Liberty feels like the much-needed expansion that we needed after the base game didn't quite hit the mark in certain aspects. Phantom Liberty not only introduces us to the new district of Dogtown, but also alters many mechanics and systems to make for a much better RPG all around. Add to that a better setting and excellent performances, and Phantom Liberty becomes an unmissable DLC. Final Fantasy XVI. Final Fantasy XVI puts players in the shoes of Clive Rosefield as he embarks on a grand adventure full of challenges. And while that generic description might sound off-putting at first, the end result is anything but. Final Fantasy XVI's real-time combat continues to be a joyous experience, and the icon fights peppered throughout the adventure also do a good job of mixing things up for the better. Horizon Forbidden West. Horizon Forbidden West takes what worked in Zero Dawn and amps it up to 11 with expanded combat options, new machines, and a whole new map to explore. It's all presented with great attention to detail, and the story is also compelling from start to end. There's just a vast breadth of things to do, places to visit, and quests to complete which will keep you occupied for quite some time. And if that's not enough, you can also check out the excellent Burning Shores expansion to make it all even better. Starfield. Starfield is the first new IP from Bethesda in over 25 years, and it's an adventure that takes the learnings from The Elder Scrolls and Fallout and beautifully morphs them into a new setting. The NASA punk designs strike a great balance between imaginative and realistic, and the world itself consists of dozens of different planets that are filled with quests to track, factions to side with or antagonize, and things to collect. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is all about Geralt embarking on a grand quest to find her daughter Ciri, and that journey is nothing short of magical. The Witcher 3 features a complex web of systems and mechanics that beautifully mesh into one another, and the accompanying story is also similar, with complex characters that have real motivations and flaws, and your choices leading to extremely different outcomes. Add to that some of the best side quest lines that we've seen in gaming, and The Witcher 3 becomes an unmissable game. The Elder Scrolls Skyrim. Despite being more than a decade old at this point, Skyrim continues to hold its position as one of the best RPGs ever made. And a lot of that credit goes to the sheer density of the open world on offer. It encourages you to go out and explore different places on the map. And the reward for player curiosity is pretty generous, with unexpected quests and special items littered all across the world. There's also plenty of different skills to master, weapons to collect, and builds to try out, which makes it such a vast and replayable game. Baldur's Gate 3. Released only a few months ago, Baldur's Gate 3 is a benchmark for modern RPGs in more ways than one. It takes place in a well-realized fantasy world with rich details and compelling gameplay mechanics, and the developer excellently balances its large scale with great attention to detail on a micro level. The gameplay is highly dynamic despite its turn-based nature, and players are encouraged to look for creative ways to tackle encounters. Elden Ring. Elden Ring is an amalgamation of everything that developer From Software has been working on for the last decade, and it's an unforgettable experience to say the least. The mystical world of the Lands Between is filled to the brim with hideous beasts, hidden castles, dense forests, and much more, which will keep you occupied for dozens upon dozens of hours. The combat is every bit as methodical and brutal as you would expect, and there's plenty of build options to try out as well. And that brings us to the end of the video. A quick request: we upload new videos every single day, and if you like what we're doing, please consider subscribing. It really helps us out. Also, don't forget to enable all notifications by clicking the bell icon so that you can receive daily video updates. Thanks for watching.